Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was the juggernaut 16-bit title that redefined high-definition graphics and changed the trajectory of Sega as a company forever, with their new mascot to lead the charge during this 16-bit era.
It's where so many series staples, such as Badniks, Rings, Chaos Emeralds, all appeared, and it's the game where a lot of fans became fans.
You got your Daytonas, which were incredible, Outrun, and just Virtua Fighter, the list goes on, but it was Sonic the Hedgehog that made Sega a household name.
Sonic 1 for me, especially, is the first proper video game that I ever played.
I got my parents to buy it for me, which was really nice at the time, and I just played the heck out of it.
I'd been around my friend Graham's house a lot of the time playing Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff, and I nagged my parents to get me a Mega Drive, and they eventually relented, got one for me and my brother to share. It was awesome. I mean, it did involve a lot of fighting between me and my brother, deciding who was going to get their turn on Sonic, but it was one of those formative moments in our childhood and a memory I look back on very fondly.
And the first time I saw Sonic running around and heard the music, which was amazing, the bright graphics, the blue skies, so typically Sega, that just blew my mind and made me a fan for life.
But it was also a game that sort of changed everything for how people viewed mascots and how people approached and engaged with a brand like a platformer. Like, all my friends in school knew who Sonic was.
My fondest memory of Sonic the Hedgehog is definitely the Starlight Zone. I remember getting to that level the first time and being absolutely blown away by the style of it, with the stars in the background and the green platforms and the little bombs that walked along and blew up when you got near them. And it offered a slightly different feel of flow to the game as well, because it had a slightly slower section, slightly more intricate platforming, but still offered blisteringly fast sections as well.
I always had to mute the game when I got to the boss, because the Robotnik theme at the time scared me. Yeah, so I got really scared whenever I got to the boss fights, and I had to mute the TV. And I would be able to beat the boss like that. But if I played it with the sound on, I would get really scared. I would mess up. Why? I don't know. I was a kid. Don't judge me.
The biggest challenge of Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was the game itself. I completed Sonic 2, I completed possibly Sonic 3 and Knuckles before I completed Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Heck, I may have even completed Sonic CD before I completed Sonic 1. It was the harder game, but because of that, if you go back and play it now, which I do constantly, it's one of the most rewarding games in the original trilogy.
Scrap Brain Zone Act 3, which was like the labyrinth-like act of Scrap Brain, the last one before you got to the final zone, that was the hardest moment in the game for sure, the hardest act. You ran out of air very quickly, and there were no bubbles. The bubbles took a long time to get to you, so it was really challenging, and I died a lot. The final zone, the final boss, is really easy to beat, but Scrap Brain Zone Act 3, really hard.
Sonic 1 has shaped the Sonic franchise and gaming greatly. I mean, because it's the first of the franchise, so there are so many firsts within that game. I mean, of course, the rings and the badniks and the rolling and the pinball physics, but also things like checkerboards and palm trees and just the aesthetics alone, the music. There are so many firsts within that game, elements that would carry on to future Genesis Mega Drive games and future titles for the franchise. As for gaming, of course, it introduced arguably one of the most popular video game franchises of all time.
There are parts of each game, when you look at its DNA, that go all the way back to that original Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it really did define a whole genre of platformer that has carried on for plus 30 years now. It's quite impressive how good that original concept was, that it's managed to carry through decades and still engage fans to this day.
So I've played Sonic the Hedgehog 1 pretty much all the way through, probably every year since it's been released on many a platform, and now I'm playing it again on Sonic Origins Plus for the Switch, my platform of choice, and it's got a new challenge to it.
You can play it in HD, so that's a whole different perspective as well. That's definitely a plus. Ha, no pun intended.
I get to watch my children play this game, and they're playing it at the same age that I was when I first started playing it, and they're taking different actions and they're going down different routes every time they see something that I wouldn't have seen in my smaller CRT TV screen versions that I grew up with. For instance, the final boss at the end of the first zone, where the big swinging crane, you can now actually get behind the platforms. So many different little areas like that show up because this is widescreen, and I really think it adds to an already brilliant game.
Having all these cool new little options, like being able to play as Tails and Knuckles and Amy Rose, and having the spin dash. It's really wild just how much they've been able to include in this old game to make it feel new but old at the same time, and giving you a new way to play through it.
It's funny actually, because when I played it again in Origins and I got to that final screen where Sonic jumps at the camera, I realised, oh, this is the same feeling I had as a kid, and I don't think there is any other game that grabs me and can so easily replicate that feeling of just pure joy as a child that Sonic game can. Impressive. Good job, Sega.